Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to me. It's early. Birthday tomorrow. Happy Life Affirmation Day. Happy Life Affirmation Day to me, Brother Ron. R2C2H2, the artist. 41 years ago, tomorrow, it's my birthday. Celebrating me. Without me, there's no We All Be. You see how it works? I had to be created to create We All Be. True story. My life is better than a real movie. Or it is a movie. Everybody's life's a movie. My mom and dad met in college. They both went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. My mom is from Memphis. My dad is from Saginaw, Michigan. They met when she was a freshman in college, and he was, had an engineering degree. He was working on his engineering degree. He's a very, very smart man. Come to find out, you got to think about it. She's from Memphis, Tennessee. He's from Saginaw, Michigan. And they met in college in Knoxville. Come to find out that my father's 8th grade math teacher is my mom's aunt. I can't make this. My mom's aunt, who was from Como, Mississippi, she moved to Michigan, of all places, taught my father 8th grade math. Then some years later, father comes back down, or comes to the Southland, the old Southland, meets my mom on neutral ground. Come to find out that my mom's 8th grade math teacher, or my father's 8th grade math teacher, is my mom's aunt, my great aunt from Como. The universe, God makes no mistakes. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I'm getting ready to go on an epic road trip tomorrow, but I want to check in with the peoples. So much stuff going on right now in the diaspora. And just know that we all be in it to win it. Welcome to another wonderful, entertaining, edutainment edition of The Artist Thinks presents Brother Ron Speaks, Stop Provocateur, the one and only. Brother Ron, let me check everything. I hope y'all can hear me loud and clear. Not entertaining, no trolls tonight. If you want to troll, better cash out my cash app. Troll my cash app tonight. Y'all troll my cash app tonight. I'm not entertaining no trolls, man. I got so much on my mind. And I really, a lot of people going live, but I just want to share my thoughts on things. As the world turns, let me see if everything is okay. I'm tired of looking at the after product, and I'm seeing that I got pixelating problems. I don't know, I like a Super Mario Brothers game from the 80s or something. Sometimes in my lives, man. But the best is yet to come. But I just want to check in with the people. You all appreciate it. Super Mario Brothers game from that. Okay, it's like everything's loud and clear. Loud and clear. I'm just looking at my screen. I like to look at myself. I gotta look. Somebody loves you, baby. Whoa, whoa, wow. I gotta love myself. I gotta love on myself. I'll get some noise place. I don't give a damn tonight, because tonight is the night before the night. Tonight is the night before the night, or before the day. Tonight. Okay, so I just want to say, I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. Just shout out to the sister, Micaiah Bryant, who lost her life. Black folks love celebrating Pyrrhic victories. I don't know why people are celebrating on Tuesday. Well, that Tuesday, 420. Also, Adolf Hitler's birthday. Y'all think about 420 again. High as hell, man. But it's Adolf's birthday. 8-8. Adolf birthday. 8-8. Hail to the 8-8. Hail Hitler. H is the 8th letter in the alphabet. That was 8-8. I mean, I was in a Kroger's a couple years back. You white boys were having a conversation, the A.L.L I'm trying to go through. It could have been a scene from Higher Learning, but I was outnumbered that night. I ain't feel like getting no scrap. I just wanted to get some pickles, man. Some pickles and some chips. And white boy was blocking out. I saw they had their tattoo with 88 on it, the Eagles and the 88 and some other stuff. They were white nationalists. But I just said, excuse me, sirs, can I just get by you? I just want to get by. I love the Far Side. I'm just, riffing on that. But, I saw the tattoos. And I was naive, but you got to pick your battles. As I get older, as I get a seasoned person, because 41 is 41, and it's fascinating looking over my life. I never thought I'd live this long, to be honest with you. If I had thought I was going to live this long, I probably took better care of myself. It's kind of like Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle, the great baseball player for the Yankees. I think everybody on his father's side, like his father and his father's brothers died before they was 40, around the age of 40. And Mickey Mantle was not only a great athlete and great baseball player, but he was known for abusing his body. But he said it best. I think he got 2 liver transplants or something like that. I know it was a controversy by him getting so many organ transplants, and people thought because he was a privileged, celebrity, that's why he was able to get on transplant. He still couldn't save his life. But like he said, if I thought I was gonna live past 40, I would take better care of myself. Not saying I'm not taking better care of myself these days, but people gotta understand as you get older, the longer you live, the stuff that you did when you was growing up or coming of age, it catches up with you. It's like if you play football, those nagging injuries become memory loss and all that other crap. So, I mean, that's just life. And people got this habit of saying it's a tragic life. Like DMX died at 50. It's unfortunate. He's still relatively young, but it's not a tragedy. It is not tragic, y'all. He left an amazing legacy. It would have been tragic if he lived 50 years and didn't leave anything behind. He left a lot of children behind. He left a lot of great music and art behind. So his life was not wasted. People got this idea, or they want to tell you what success looked like or what wasted talent looked like. His talent was not wasted. I wish he could have did more of his talent. I mean, I could have saw a long career in voiceover work. I mean, DMX had amazing, every time I want to go, one more road to cross, one more risk to take. I mean, he just had an amazing, magical voice. Very music. He was music. He was very musical. Was naturally funny. Hey, my dog ate my cat. It was a story he was telling about living with a lady. I think it was his first wife. She's working at the bank, but he had his dog and she had a cat. And one day the dog attacked the cat and killed the cat. I guess chased it into the closet and killed the cat. And DMX told, I think it was on Drink Champs. I think he told this story about he called his girl's work. I just want to let you know. Can you tell her that Brittany died? We lost Brittany. Brittany died today. He didn't say that Brittany was a cat. So the woman was notified by her boss or supervisor that Brittany died, and she was given a day off or half a day off. And so she went home and X, and she confronted X. But I mean, X would tell these stories, and he's not trying to be funny, but it's just funny as hell because of the way he tells it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you say, it's the way that you say it. Y'all remember that lesson? So, no, it wasn't a wasted life. It's the same thing with Black Rob. Black Rob is unfortunate. He died, relatively young. 51? Some sources say 52. Man, he was about 72, man. He went through a lot of stuff. But my thing, I think them brothers are both at peace wherever they at. But Black Rob has contributed to the culture. I mean, whoa. A couple other joints I forgot he was on that he blessed people on. So he did what he did. He had a chance to shine. You ain't gonna shine forever, son. But everybody got their time to shine. You gotta make your chances. And heard about Shock G, Mr. Humpty, the Humpty Dance. The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, that's tragic. I mean, they found him, I believe, in a hotel. I don't know all the details. I'm just saying he did not live a tragic life. Stop it, people. These are not tragedies. These are people that have lived full lives. They have partaken in excess of life. And you got to pay a tax. For every excess, there's a tax. We all got to pay. If there's a hell below, we all got to go, man. But I ain't, not really. But what I'm saying is living life is taxing. For every action, there's a reaction. I don't feel tragedies, man. As I get older, it's not tragic that people die. that people expire. What's tragic when people don't do anything they want to do while they're here. Because life is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Take advantage of the moment while being in the moment. So that's how I feel about these type of things. All this tragic BS is not tragedy. Like if I happen to go, and runs that checked out at 41, I didn't live a tragic life. I had traumas. You have traumas, you have difficulties, you have some technical difficulties, and you have traumas, and that's a life to me. You have regrets. To me, that's not a life wasted, life well lived. Thank y'all for honoring the birthday blessings. My birthday is tomorrow, April 23rd, but I'm gonna be on the road documenting his story, her story, our story to share with you all in the coming weeks. I got a great epic road trip coming up starting on my birthday, and it's gonna go to the end of this month. We're going to cover some places. The ancestors told me, Brother Ron, if you take care of us, we'll take care of you. If you tell our story so we can get some glory, we'll make sure you're well compensated by any means necessary. So, yeah, but these are not tragedies, y'all. I mean, I know we losing the icons and stuff like that, but people got to go. But they have made their contribution. Shock G is the reason why we know about a Tupac Amaru Shakur. Tupac came through the digital underground. Thank God and blessings for that brother forever helping give our brother, former LaShawn Crooks, a.k.a. Tupac Amaru Shakur, a platform to shake up the world. He shook up the world. So, I mean, Shock G did not live a tragic life. It's unfortunate that he couldn't live longer, but his job was done on earth and he was called home. Somewhere over the cosmos. I'm just gonna be myself. I get older, I don't really care about what people got to say or think about what I do or who I am anymore. I tried for 40 years to be everything that people want me to be, to do whatever they want me to do. Now I'm tired. I'm tired of doing that BS. It's like with women. I'm not gonna chase y'all no more. Y'all gonna have to find and chase me. I'm like a leprechaun. You gonna have to get my pot of gold. I'm not giving away the pot of gold anymore. You know what I'm saying? Come and find me. Because my mistake I've been making is that I elevate people on a level they ain't ready to be on. And that's a gift and a curse of a Taurus. Real Taurus is we elevate everybody. We manifest things. You want to make something happen, you holler at a Taurus. We are excellent communicators, but we are poor judgment in reading people. We're poor study on reading folks and their intentions and agendas. So I'm very guilty of that. Now I be celebrating everybody the best I can. Even when I'm going through the hell I go through, I be trying to put people on. I put on for my people, put on for my people, put on for my people. Why do my people forsake thee? Is it because I'm a gifted MC? No, it's not that. But what I'm saying is, Tauruses, man, we're great at communicating ideas, messages. We're great at manifesting things. Dr. King was a Capricorn, but who did he marry? He married a Taurus. Coretta was a bull. She was determined to be the legacy bearer, the torch bearer of her husband's legacy. She's the reason why we know about Dr. King. He married a Taurus. Taurus manifested his legacy. When he died, he was resurrected. See, Coretta was Isis to Dr. King's Osiris. She resurrected that man's memory in our history. He is the reason why there's a King Center, or she is the reason, rather, why there's a King Center and a King Federal holiday. The power of a Taurus. It's like when people talk about Kobe, the Mamba mentality. That's not a Mamba mentality. No disrespect to Kobe, to the Black Mamba, but that's a Virgo reality. That's just the Virgo way. A lot of our greatest in any field of endeavor were Virgos. Kobe's a Virgo, Dave Chappelle's a Virgo, Charlie Parker's a Virgo, Michael Jordan's a Virgo. Not Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, excuse me. Michael Jordan is actually Aquarius. He's actually born February 17th. That's the same birthday of Huey P. Newton and Jim Brown. So there's no coincidence in the universe. So God's plan. So you got all these great Virgos. Nas a Virgo. I like Amy Winehouse. She's a Virgo. So there's no coincidence there. That's what Virgos do. So that's what they do. So, like I said, I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. I'm talking about Makia. Say Makia Bryant. I want to say Makia, but the sister that was taken from us. in Columbus early this week on the 420, Adolf Hitler's birthday, and also when Derek Chauvin was allegedly his verdict was guilty as charged, manslaughter, whatever. But y'all soon to forget, the woman that killed Latasha Harlins up in L.A. some 30 years ago, they found her guilty too, but she didn't serve any time in prison. Did some community service, suspended sentence, but she didn't serve no time in prison. And the sad thing about it, if you look at the Latasha Harlins documentary done by her friends and family, whatever, it's worth looking at on Netflix if it's still on there. The Korean woman who ran and owned that store had a reputation of pulling her guns on black children. She had a well-known reputation for pulling her guns on black children. So where's the village? The village not only failed Latasha Harlins, it failed Ma'Khia Bryant. The village failed Ma'Khia Bryant because where are all the grown people at to protect this sister? She stood her ground. George Zimmerman stood his ground. He's not dead in the ground. He stood his ground, right? Allegedly. But this woman actually, it's not even a woman. This child stood her ground. It could also be said the castle doctrine. She protected her castle. This queen or princess, I'm not gonna call queen because she wasn't grown. Because this is what our children are not allowed to be grown, especially when they're victimized. America has never allowed black children to be children. That's not only a Michael Jackson story, that's the story of black America. But yet at the same time, they don't allow our children to be children, but our people as adults, we're not fully grown. We're not even realized grown people. We are in a state of arrested development as a people. Thank you, Brother Michael, for your tithes and offerings. I appreciate it. We love you madly. But I'm saying we're not even grown as a people, man. We're infantile. Because even how we respond to the verdict for Derek Chauvin is an infantile response. Celebrating. If you don't get your way, you throw a hissy fit, you'll burn it down like the big bad wolf or something. It's not even worth it. It's wasted energy. Because the judge in 8 weeks going to determine what Derek Chauvin's actual punishment is. To me, I believe he should have practiced some type of Hammurabi code, Old Testament Hammurabi or Hammurabi code, whatever. The eye for eye, tooth for tooth. I would say, his punishment should have been have somebody the size and weight of George Floyd put their knee on his neck for half the time. Instead of being like the 9 minutes and 29 seconds, let it be half of 9 minutes and 29 seconds, but let the person who put their knee on the neck be the size, weight, and everything of a George Floyd, and have 2 other people hold his legs and see if he can survive not resisting arrest. Let's see if he can survive that. If he can walk away from that, he deserves his freedom. But let somebody, a George Floyd size dude, put his knee on that boy's neck, on Derek's neck, and let 2 other people hold his legs down and see if he could survive that. All right? In half the time. So I'm being fair about it. It's some King Solomon stuff I'm talking about right now. But as soon as you found out guilty, what happened? Ma'Khia Bryant in Columbus. Excuse me, I'm thinking about misery. We are in a state of misery as black people. But up in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, what is the capital of Ohio? If I'm not mistaken, I know it's the head place of the Ohio State University. Columbus is actually a very beautiful city. I love going through Ohio. I'm just fascinated by the different cities in Ohio. I love architecture. And you go to Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, you're never disappointed by the amazing architecture you see. But behind that architecture lies a lot of misery. As a people, we are in a state of misery. And so I was surprised they released the body cam footage that quick. But you look at the footage. On the footage, it looks like there's a grown woman. She's like a fully grown woman to me with a knife. It looks very aggressive. But if you look at her social media accounts, her TikTok, that's clearly a young child. It's not a grown woman. That's a child. 17 years young. Your brain ain't fully developed in terms of making decisions, until you about 26 years old. But that's a child. If you look, that's a child, right? Maybe, I don't know. It depends. People say, well, you know, in certain states, the age of consent is 16 or 17, whatever. But if she's the one that called the police, shouldn't she have gotten reasonable doubt? I mean, she was defending herself. She stood her ground. Castle doctrine. She was in front of her home. Was she in front of the foster care home she was staying at? So she's defending her home, standing her ground. Should she be the one still alive? Regardless if the girl she had on the car got seriously injured or not, was she in the right? Because she called the cops saying these group of ladies or women, I don't know, were they young people too? Are they teenagers? Were attacking her. I'm not gonna look through all this. You know, I'm not gonna, y'all go with the black trauma porn, Black Lives Matter trauma porn. I looked at it, I said, that's unfortunate. But my thing is, the village, like they feel Latasha Harlins. There is no reason that Latasha Harlins tragedy happened if it was well known that that Korean American woman was pulling guns out on black children who were not breaking the law, but just going to her store, patronizing the store, buying goods. Where were the parents at on that one? See, it's the grown people that made that mess. You can't put this on Ma'Khia Bryant, because I think it's strange that this girl, and she's so beloved by her family, how come she's not staying with the mama or the aunt? I mean, no disrespect to them, but I'm saying, okay, she's not staying with y'all, but you talking about she's a peacekeeper and all this other stuff, but you guys stay in a foster care home. And it don't mean anything. But what I'm saying is, you had grown people around that crime scene, that tragedy, talking about she was defending herself. Why y'all didn't come to her aid? Y'all the grown folk. Why did the village not come to aid? Why she had to call the state to intervene? And it never ends well for black folks when we call the popos. Y'all keep on talking about reform this and defund that. The police are doing what they're supposed to do, what they was originally formed to do. They're more informed about what they're doing than you are about what they're doing, right? So they're doing their job. But the police don't serve the people. They serve owners. The people who own the system, that own the institutions, they control the police. Police are what? What is the police policy? They are the policy enforcers. They enforce the policies of the state, of the gatekeepers of the state, the real shareholders of the state. They enforce their policy. They're policy enforcers. That's the police. They're not there to protect and serve you. They're there to protect and serve the interests of the state apparatus. So let's get that clear. But she called, from my understanding, because I'm not going to get to all this. All right. I'm just reading off of heavy and then what people saying, well, she called the police to protect her, but the cavalry ended up killing the person that was calling from help from the cavalry. So she should still be alive. You know, people could say what they want to say about the body cam footage, but if she was standing her ground, protecting herself and her home, she should not have been shot 4 times. Regardless of what may have happened to her target, her intended target, she was not given a fair warning according to the witnesses on the scene. And then again, black folks love to wallow in self-pity, love to be victimized. Like we elevate our victims on, white folks elevate their killers. We elevate our victims. Like we put them on, white folks elevate their killers, man. They love their General Pattons and Eisenhowers and MacArthurs and Custers and even their traitors, Robert E. Lees, they Stonewall Jacksons, they Nathan Bedford Forrest. They elevate their killers because the real killers are the real peacekeepers. The real killers are the real key pieces. You can't be a great pimp unless you was a great hoe. See, it's a yin and yang to this thing. Yin yang to this thing. Yin yang to this thing. You understand? So you can't be, you can't be no great killer. Oh, you can't be a great peace killer. Oh, peace killer. You can't be a great peacekeeper without being a killer. Well, who was Paul? Paul was Saul before he was Paul. Who was Saul? He was a killer. Think about Tookie Williams, Stanley Tookie Williams, the last person I believe to be executed by the state of California back in 2005 of December. I ain't gonna never forget that. He changed his life around. He was a peacekeeper. He was a guy promoting peace and unity, solidarity, trying to educate the kids through his children's books, was even nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, but they killed him. And unlike the killers of the state, Tookie had integrity. Because Tookie would not admit to something he did not do. Like, to paraphrase him, I did a lot of horrible, terrible things, but the things that I'm on death row for, that I was convicted of, I did not do. Now, that's an honesty. He was willing to die for his integrity, for his newfound integrity. He had a moral code, a moral compass. We as a people like that. There is no code. Stop it with this BS. Y'all be picking up these talking points that don't make any sense. Like what Fred Hampton Sr. said, answers that don't answer, conclusions that don't conclude. y'all just love to be an enigma and mystery to yourself. You don't want to know anything about yourself or what's really going on. But Ma'Khia Bryant did not deserve that. The village, the so-called community let her down. We throw our children to the wolves. Y'all forget that Joe Estini Jr. was 14. We were killed for them 2 little white girls that he didn't kill. I interviewed Joe Estini's brother, who looked like him. He's a younger looking version of his big brother. I interviewed a white man whose father was a part of the search party for the killers. Even Joe Estini was helping those white men. And by the time he was put in literature, his family was so terrorized, they ran him out the state of South Carolina. They said, if y'all come and try to see this boy, we're going to kill all your niggas. See, y'all tripping. I'm looking at them on Amazon Prime. I see all you black folks got a problem with this. This is black trauma porn. Y'all crying. This stuff happened, man. Get over yourself. Y'all, that's why I know the people that's crying about this, because I wasn't expecting nothing. I'm tired of Lena Waithe. She's a fellow Taurus. I think she was born May 17th. But I had so high hopes on her for Lena Waithe. After I saw some of the stuff she did on Master of None. Is that the show called Master of None? And, they Me Too that guy, the Indian dude. I didn't do nothing, man. Don't get me, man. No more. They Me Too him. But, man, after Queen and Slim, I kind of like, and then people talking about the 3rd season of The Chi. I actually enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I said, this woman is gifted. She's like Lorraine's Hansberry. And, Queen and Slim, I remember when people saw what happened to the couple at the airport strip. Black folks started booing, throwing popcorn. They were walking out. It was like the theater was packed with black people. And I had such high hopes for that show, for that movie. And what she should have did was did a biopic on Robert F. Williams and Mabel Williams, Radio Free Dixie from Monroe, North Carolina. That's the real Queen and Slim, because they actually got to Cuba. Then they went to China. Then cut a deal with the State Department to come back to America, which allowed Richard Nixon to become the first American president to visit China while president. And they live until old age. Robert F. Williams outlived Malcolm and Martin, who was friends of his. They both died at 39. Robert F. Williams died in his 70s back in, I believe, October of 96. And Rosa Parks, yes, that Rosa Parks did his eulogy. And his wife just died, I think, in 2014, Sister Mabel Williams. But what I'm saying is, to me, that's black trauma porn. But damn, it's showing what really happened to us. Damn is us. Y'all, I mean, that happened. That happened to us. Y'all need to do yourselves a favor. Look at that PBS documentary about the blind of Isaac Woodard, the decorated black sergeant from the Carolinas. This man was blinded by a sheriff in a hick town in South Carolina back in February of 1946. This man was just discharged, was honorably discharged from the army. On his way back home, get with his wife to see his family, to celebrate being back home, had a $649 check, I believe, on his person. $649 was a lot of money back in those days. Man was proud not only to be black, but to be American. A hero with his army medals, his war medals on his chest. They pulled him off a bus, and the sheriff of a town named Shull, this guy named Shull, or Shull, whatever his name, Shull was Shull. This man took his nightstick, billy club, or blackjack and basically gouged this dude's eyes out. So-called war hero who was fighting to make the world safe for democracy. He wasn't even safe on a bus ride back home to see his family. But never would see his family again because he was blinded for life. Wife left him because she didn't want to take care of no invalid. But his blinding was the start of the modern civil rights movement. It's a little known history, but this one, it jump-started Harry Truman's decision to integrate the armed forces. It also led indirectly to the historic Brown v. Board of Education ruling in the U.S. Supreme Court. But look at that documentary. The Blind of Isaac Woodard is on PBS. It's online. Just look at the Blind of Isaac Woodard documentary. Woodard is Woodard. Look that up. Well, I like how it, not only talk about his blindness, because, Orson Welles, the great, iconic, artistic, creative genius, Orson Welles of Citizen Kane fame, he used his radio platform to talk about this case, because this case infuriated the president, Harry Truman. Harry Truman was not the black people's greatest friend or ally. He was a Dixiecrat in his way. He was from Missouri. He was a product of the Kansas City political machine of boss Tom Pendergast. That what made him a U.S. senator on the way of becoming the vice president, on the way to becoming president of the United States. He was not college educated, but when Walter White, the leader of the NAACP, Walter White, who could pass for white, but who found it was a victim of the Atlanta race massacre of 1906. I believe his father was a mailman. So Walter White, even though he could pass for white, he chose to be a black man. I'm not excusing Sean King, white boy Rick. I'm not excusing white boy Rick, Sean boy King. But Walter White was a black man through and through, as far as I'm concerned. And he said, look, Mr. Truman, I want to tell you a story about Sergeant Isaac Woodard, because he knew that Truman was a World War I veteran. And when Truman heard about this black man, it's not just about him being a black man, it's about him being a veteran, being a war hero, being mistreated. He said, all this happened in uniform? They poke his eyes out in uniform? He was upset. He was outraged. Truman became the first sitting president to speak before the NAACP on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. He thought that for him advocating for civil rights and befriending the NAACP, he thought it was going to cost him the election in 48. He was already, I'm going to lose because I want to help the Negroes be equals. I want everybody to be. This is a racist, suspected white supremacist who wanted to join the Klan. This Harry Truman. Y'all forget that who's on Supreme Court, Hugo Black, a U.S. senator from Alabama. He was a former Klansman, but he supported integration and civil rights. He endorsed the Brown v. Board decision. He actually apologized for his involvement in the Klan, because people don't understand the Klan was a very powerful political organization back in the 20s. At the height, in the 20s, the Klan had over 4 million people as members. And some of the biggest Klan states were not Alabama and Mississippi, but Indiana. Arguably the biggest Klan state during the second renaissance of the Klan. So Hugo Black apologized. I mean, it was a political, thing to be a part of that group, but he a politician at the end of the day, but he endorsed Brown v. Board. So check out, and I wish it would have talked more about Isaac Woodard life after the 40s, after him becoming a car celeb and all that stuff, the struggles he had to deal with. But I guess it was like a Trojan horse to show how this one incident in the South, when it got publicized, led to a lot of things going on with the civil rights movement, especially to the Brown v. Board decision. Even the judge that presided over the case of the sheriff who blinded Woodard, he had to change of heart after he heard Woodard's testimony in his court, because this guy benefited from chattel slavery. He had several family members that were big, profitable slave owners in his family. His family wealth came from enslaving black people. But when he saw this man, Isaac Woodard, with all his dignity, even though he was blinded, the man still walked it erect. He had pride in himself. He was dressed, distinctively. He was handsome. He was charismatic. And it changed that white man's heart. Him and his wife started becoming more activist minded. They were, their home was shot at. They were shot at, threatened, all this other stuff. He got kicked out of white society in Charleston and all that stuff. But his last name was Warren. He actually died in 68, but he's the one that encouraged Thurgood Marshall to go with the case that became known as Brown v. Board. But all that started in South Carolina. Because you got to think about Brown v. Board, that's about, I think her name Elizabeth Brown. She just passed not too long ago. And I'm going to look, her name was Brown. Her last name was Brown. What can Brown do for you? Okay. That whole thing, that was set in Kansas, right? Brown v. Board. But Kansas was not South Carolina. And really, to be honest, if you start doing your research, the school that she was going to was not a bad so-called color school.
She just wanted, her family just wanted her to go to the school that was closest to their home, which happened to be a white school. The color school she was going to in Kansas was not a horribly inferior school. Now, if you look at the Briggs case down in South Carolina, them schools were inadequate. They were not getting the same taxpayer money investment as the white schools. So that actually was a stronger case, but because they listed those cases, because that Brown v. Board was not just Brown v. Board, it was other cases under the heading of Brown v. Board. And the reason why it's known as Brown v. Board, because alphabetically, I can't see, do it? No, but there was somebody who was trying to rationalize that alphabetically Brown came before the other case, but you had the Briggs case. Briggs is before Brown. I don't know. There's always some BS, but basically, I guess what one of the people was saying in the documentary, The Blind and Isaac Woodard, is that the powers that be did not want to look like they was picking on the South. That's why they put the Topeka cancer case before everybody else. I don't know. But white folks. But anyway, this is history we should know and talk about. See, a lot of y'all get upset. Y'all don't know the history. Minnesota been gangster. Y'all think them white folks in Minnesota is nice because the way they talk. Y'all think Canadians are nice. There's some gangster Canadians. Y'all think some of y'all just foolish. Minnesota was like one of the biggest places where all the top outlaws and public enemy number ones were hide back in the 30s. Like I'm talking about John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, Pretty Boy Floyd. They all would hide out in St. Paul and Minneapolis and them areas, from the law. Minnesota is like an Arkansas. It's a gangster state, but y'all don't think of it as being a gangster state because y'all know the history of those places. Always been very corrupt. You understand? So the George Floyd thing, I mean, they could let Derek Chauvin go on a suspended sentence. You don't know what that judge gonna do. Y'all celebrating like, why is this a celebration? They just killed that girl. Then last week they killed that boy in the Knoxville, right? In the high school bathroom. What's his name? Anthony Thompson Jr. See, I get that right. Because like I said, I really supposed to be just getting ready for my epic road trip. But I just want to do this live right quick. See, Anthony Thompson. I'm talking loud. Neighbors gonna complain. I just don't care right now. I'm about to be 41, man. I'm trying to get used to the idea of being 41. Hell. Anthony Thompson. Y'all look up his name, and I'm gonna tell you how Bobby Dick Gregory taught me something very important. They taught me Anthony Thompson. See, yeah, Anthony Thompson Jr. Looked it up. His girlfriend's mama, who's a white lady, and her daughter is mixed. So they got a thing for dark meat. But I'm saying she called the police on Anthony Thompson Jr. because allegedly he assaulted her daughter. I mean, it's young love, and the girl, that's her first love, and this young teenage love, but she gonna call the police on this dude. Cause I think she said that he pulled some of her hair out. You know what I mean? Hair gonna go back. She hair breed, her hair will go back. But I'm saying, but she called police on this dude. Police went to the school. They confronted him in the restroom. Then somehow he ended up dead. And the cop got shot in the leg. I think it was like the safety or truant officer or something got shot in the leg. And they were trying to say that he got in a shootout with the cops and that he shot the cop in the leg. If you look at the first New York Times article, they led with this black teenager, this black man. We can never be teenagers. We can never be children. No matter how young you are. Tamir Rice was a man when he was 12 years old. Emmett Till was a man when he was 14 years old. George Stinney was a man when he was 14 years old when they put him in an electric chair. Now Anthony Thompson Jr. is a full-grown man, even though he's 17. And they say he got in a shootout with the police in the restroom. And then like they said they had to take that back and found out that the cop was shot by another cop, friendly fire. So they had to I don't know if the New York Times, I think the New York Times probably redid the story, but they led with him allegedly shooting with the police. Shooting it out with the police, which is not true. This man was violated. Then the girl's mama get on local television talking about, well, this is a tragedy. I didn't want this to happen when I called the police on him. I mean, when you call the police on somebody, you want something to happen. It's never a good outcome to call the police on anybody unless you really want something to happen to that person. You should never be calling police on one of your loved ones who's mentally ill. They're not equipped or they do not care to deal with your loved ones in a loving fashion, unless they happen to be white, because I have seen videos of mentally disturbed white people beating up on police, including white women police officers, getting knocked down and dragged around. They got their gun and taser. They scared to use their gun or taser on somebody that's beating their ass. There's a white person. If a black person just want to run away, they just, oh, taser, taser, taser. Bam, bam, bam. You know, come on, man. So we don't know what really happened. I believe that the officer who's accused of killing Anthony Thompson Jr. won't be charged. But the reason why these folks are never held accountable, because black folks, we don't take ourselves seriously. Black folks will let these white folks tell us that, you know, y'all got to stop this anti-Asian racism hate thing. We can't be racist. We don't own or control anything that can impact the lives of Asians. Now, they run institutions and things in our neighborhoods that do impact our quality of life. But we can't do the same for the Asians. And the thing about it is, black people are the most bullied group of people in this country. Everybody bullies black people. Everybody. Like black people, it was well represented by that brother in South Carolina getting pushed around by that army sergeant. That's how America treats black people in general. But black folks are resilient. We are resilient. Like that boy, he got pushed. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down. He did the Dunning McCurkin thing. So, he wasn't a coward, but he stood his ground. He said, hey, I live here. And black folk, we always saying, hey, we American. We live here. We been here longer than some of y'all. They say y'all more American than us. We been here longer. That's how they treat us in our own neighborhood. So, I mean, everything is interesting right now. So, but I don't get upset over this BS. I'm just like, wow. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You understand? So this is where we at right now as a people, man. And this is why I'm on here, because I'm not gonna blame that sister for getting killed. There's a reason why she had to act out. She traumatized. How can you be well adjusted in a system that don't love you? They don't care about you. That's why I say, like Dr. King said, human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. That's who I am. I don't give a damn. I play out of tune. I sing out of tune. I'm weird and I wear hats and shit. I don't give a damn. I just gotta love myself and get through this bullshit. Because it's traumatizing. That's why I love that. Damn. I only got 2 more episodes to look at, but I enjoyed it. Everybody, this is the truth about us. See, y'all don't want to deal with that, because if you study who we are and what we've been through hell. But the reason why you can't articulate reparations, because you don't know what type of hell we've been through. It's like the scene, episode 8 or whatever, like the woman was in the mental institution, the black woman. The wife, she's an institution. They lobotomizing all them black women and drug them out. See, they paying homage to what J. Marion Sims, the father of American gynecology, did to black women. Ripping up black people's bodies and wombs and stuff, not giving black women anesthesia, mutilating the babies. Y'all talking about, well, look what happened in episode 5. Episode 5 is, damn, they really going there with that shit. They did their history book lesson. Because y'all forget they use black babies as gator bait. They used to throw black babies in the swamps to attract gators, alligators. See you later, alligator. After a while, nigga down. So, see, people accuse me of being strange because I deal with that history. I'm dealing with trauma. I deal with my personal trauma. Then I deal with the generational ancestral trauma. I acknowledge it. I received it because the ancestors, they speak to me. Brother Ron, tell our stories so we can get our shine, so we can get our glory. You understand? That's what I do because we all be in it. And so when you study that, it's like, oh no, that's on. It's like the brother, the engineer, the black man who's an engineer. Man is smarter than his supervisor and his boss, but yet they want you to do their work as well as your work. White folks are so damn lazy, and then we do our kids a disservice when we tell them you gotta be twice as smart and work twice as hard. They're not twice as smart as you. They don't work twice as hard as you. Some of the hardest working people are some of the poorest people in the world. When has Queen Elizabeth had a part-time job? Do Queen Elizabeth know how to clean her toilet? Do Queen Elizabeth wipe her own ass? Her birthday was April 21st. She's a Taurus. Has she ever wiped her own ass? Y'all got the nerve that we should respect Queen Elizabeth more than that woman who got kicked out of welfare because of welfare reform, and she working 3 or 4 jobs and still can't pay her light bill or her rent on time, and got to struggle with EBT cards. So I mean, our people are weird. The hardest working people in the world are the poorest. Some of the poorest people in the world. A gorilla eats about 40 or 50 pounds of food a day. Gorilla don't have no EBT card. A gorilla don't have no time card to punch in and out. I mean, come on, man. Y'all teaching the babies wrong because y'all been taught wrong. Y'all been hoodwinked and led astray. But nobody's talking about Anthony Thompson Jr. You know, it's always, oh, he was a trouble. And we all trouble. Black folks been in trouble. We've been in detention ever since we got to this MFA. You know, so I mean, we always being punished. They used to blind black folks for learning how to read. Cut out black folks' tongues for speaking back. Don't you know that if you didn't move out the sidewalk back in the day, they used to throw black people into mental institutions for refusing to move out the sidewalk for white folks to pass. They'll throw you in a mental institution or in a swamp or in a river for looking at white folks in the eye. How much has changed? Y'all don't care about the history. Y'all don't want to know. Y'all get troubled. Y'all care about basketball and foosball and about entertainment. Y'all don't care about real life. That's why we a joke as a people, because we don't take ourselves seriously. It's so easy to tear each other down. So hard to build each other up because we don't believe in who we really are. We don't know who we really are. And therein lies the problem. So, I mean, it's a fascinating time to be alive. And I hope this stream is holding up. I can't, just want to do something to feed the people before I get out of here on my epic road trip. Yeah, that damn, I would say all black people should look at that damn, because Lena Waithe, she didn't really she produced it, she endorsed it, but this guy named person named Little Marvin did that, and shout outs to him for going there with that, because exposing the truth that a lot of us are not comfortable with. We never been comfortable with the whole truth, and like Jack Nicholson said in the movie A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. Truth is, black folks, we are traumatized. We are scarified. We scared of our own shadow. Our shadow is our past. Our past is our present. And all that will be in the future as well until, we got to address these things. So now nobody's talking about Anthony Thompson Jr. What happened? I guess because he was dating a mixed girl or the circumstances are murky. When have you known white supremacists to ever fight fair? White folks don't fight fair. They use their system to fight you. They'll gang up on you. When you win, and they'll gang up on you. They'll change the rules of engagement. This is what these people do. And you want your kids to respect this filth, to respect these degenerates, these thug punks. But I think I could wrap it up early. I think I touched on everything I want to touch on to get out of here. What else? Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Bryant. I am for real. Didn't mean to let you all down. But that's how we do it. We after the fact people. We hindsight people. It is a minstrel show. Because I'm tired of people telling me, people talking about get on code. What code? What code y'all talk about? What code y'all speak about? What are the codes? Damn on cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. Am I cold or am I on cold? Am I cold? Or am I on cold? All these, it's weird, man. But like I said, I got some shows coming up. It's gonna blow y'all mind. I want to thank people that have been supporting the ministry of We All Be, because we all be in it to win it. So yeah, I'm glad everybody who's been supporting us, doing what we're doing. It's been a journey. I got to return some emails and things of that nature, but thank y'all. Thank you. You don't know what that means. Like I said, I'm in my 40s now, and I look at things very differently than I did when I was even 40, let alone 20. So, and people ask me, let's see, Ron, about that thing. I don't know how many times I got to post this, but let me play it for this video. People ask me, where you get that jazzy intro from, right? The jazzy intro. Okay, I'm gonna play it for y'all. I'm gonna play it on this show. It's exclusive. We all be. I'm gonna take a little commercial break, but it's gonna be the break. John Daly and the 41 Players. The song is called Watercolors. It's available on YouTube. Is a no copyright infringement song. I'm gonna play the whole song because I get some videos together. Then I think I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm gonna get out of here because I got a long road trip ahead of me in the morning. but it's good things for you all with this road trip. I'm do some historic sites. We're gonna talk about some amazing things. But anyway, let me play it, and I'll be right back. And this is We All Be. This is News Free Dixie for the 21st century. It's News Free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works, see how it works, see how it works. See how it works, see how it works, see how it works. This is Watercolor, John Daly, and the 41 Players. No copyright music on News Free Dixie. We All Be. Don't go chasing watercolors. Okay, that was John Daly and the 41 Players and Watercolors, and this We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's the song, and it's a great song, and it remind me, I'll listen to it. Today, or rather this month, is National Jazz Appreciation Month. April is National Jazz Appreciation Month. I'm an April baby, I'm a Taurus, and a lot of the great jazz musicians were Tauruses, and some were Aries, but people I'm thinking about for today, for example, this is the birthday or Happy Life Affirmation Day posthumously of Charles Mingus. Charles Mingus was a badass composer, bass player, just an interesting person. He was a Taurus, and you should listen to a lot of his great stuff. Like one of his famous songs that deals with civil rights protests is "The Fables of Faubus." It'd be like Governor Faubus of Arkansas, who was the governor during the Little Rock Nine. those 9 black students who tried to integrate Central High School in Little Rock. So he wrote a song called Fables of Faubus, and a lot of other great stuff as well. It's always a great Desert Island album. I would suggest if you were stranded on a desert island, and you want to listen to some great jazz, it's this great album called Money Jungle that featured Charles Mingus, Max Roach, and the great Duke Ellington playing his standards. I mean, in their interpretation of Duke Ellington's standards. Because, you know, Max Roach, was born, I believe, in 1925. Charles Mingus was born, I believe, in 1922, and Duke was born in 1899. So these men were young enough to be not only his biological children, but also they are his music children. And so it's a beautiful interpretation of Duke Ellington's standards. You know, on the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, they actually played a song from Money Jungle entitled African Flower. You know, it's in there. Just look up African Flower, Duke Ellington, Money Jungle. And that's that scene they played it in that Judas and Black Messiah, that Duke Ellington song. That's from the album Money Jungle. So the jazz. Well, I was looking at Mo Better Blues. Mo Better Blues came out 31 years ago this year. I think it was Spike Lee's 4th feature film. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. It has aged well. You know, Denzel is the lead. He's the trumpet star. You also have Wesley Snipes is so underrated. He's a brilliant actor, man. He's just brilliant. He's just very talented. He played the tenor sax man, Shadow Henderson. And you had, it was like you had Abby Lincoln as Denzel's mom at the beginning, who was Max Roach's wife at one point. You know, Abby Lincoln is a great singer and stylist as well. You know, when Malcolm, who was a Taurus, when he would have his rallies up in Harlem, he would have people like Max Roach and Abby Lincoln be the entertainment that opened for him, as well as Esther Rose. You know, Esther, damn, James. She'd do like theater interpretations for Malcolm at his rallies. See, Malcolm was Malcolm used to be a jazz drummer. Malcolm used to play drums behind like Billie Holiday. He used to be smoke weed every day. He used to smoke weed and all that. And I believe that Malcolm Little, Detroit Red, was a drummer at one point. He was also a dishwasher at Jimmy's Chicken Shack in Harlem. Him, along with Red Fox, they were best friends and dishwashers at the same place. This is also what Charlie Parker and Art Tatum would play jazz. You know, Charlie Parker was known as Yardbird, allegedly for his love of chicken. So I guess he could help all you can eat chicken while he played his jazz. And there was another thing about Bird by Charlie Parker. Y'all need to read, if y'all read any book this year, go ahead and read Miles Davis' autobiography. I'm surprised there's never been a actual decent biopic made around his actual life. Like what Don Cheadle did was a disgrace. It was a disgrace because all you gotta do is look at his autobiography. Miles had an unusually interesting life. And I believe I read some years ago, this has been years ago, so I read Miles Davis' autobiography. You know, it was co-written by Quincy Troupe, the great Quincy Troupe, poet from East St. Louis. I met Quincy Troupe 20 years ago while I was in college. I attended one of his speeches or lectures, I believe, at the Sheldon Hall, the great concert hall in St. Louis. I believe that where is that. I met him, and you know, he talked to me. I saw him a couple of times while I was in college. But I believe Miles Davis said that Charlie Parker had a thing about driving around in taxi cabs, eating buckets of chicken while having a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes giving him a blowjob. I think Miles said that in his book, yeah, Bird used to drive around taxi cabs, eat a bucket of chicken, and a white chick blowing his dick. And I said, nigga, can you please stop that, Bird, for crying out loud? Bird said, nigga, turn your fucking head. Bird was not for the kids. You know, he died at 34. But the coroner thought that Charlie Parker was 65 when he died. He just abused his body. Like, I'm trying to get back to, I was talking about Black Rob and DMX. These guys, I mean, people abuse their body. I mean, just living is hard. Living just to know. I mean, Rick James, for crying out loud. It's a rock star lifestyle. Shit catches up with you. And Charlie Parker lived to excess. When Charlie Parker was trying to get off of heroin, he would drink gallons of whiskey a day or whatever. Not a whiskey, a wine, gallon of wine a day. They're doing things to extreme, but he was brilliant. You know, you talk to Charlie Parker, just Google up Charlie Parker, YouTube Charlie Parker actually talking. He sounded like he was a college professor, but he didn't get a high school degree. He was a high school dropout, sound like a college professor. Because Bird was so brilliant, he could talk about anything and everything. Now, what's interesting about Byrd, he was full of contradictions, right? Because people would say, well, Byrd was Muslim. He believed in the Islamic faith, but people say he was an atheist. So Byrd was a Muslim and an atheist. And y'all gotta check it out. Read Dizzy Gillespie biography about the religion thing. A lot of jazz musicians got into Islam not because look, it made it convenient for them to be able to move around in America. Because white people are weird in America. If they think you're a black person from a foreign land, they treat you better. See, Dizzy Gillespie documented this in his book, and Dizzy Gillespie was of the Baha'i faith. Look at the Baha'i faith. Dizzy was of the Baha'i faith, but he said a lot of guys back in the 40s became Muslims or converted to Islam so they could navigate Jim Crow better in America. Because if they thought you was an Islamic black person from overseas, if you trying to stay in a hotel in South Carolina and they thought you was from overseas, a black person with a weird name, Islamic name, they would let you get by. See, this thing is weird like that. It's like, and I talked to a sister I met at Greyhound some years ago. She was growing up. Her father had a popular grocery store he ran down in the South in Alabama. His biggest patrons were white people. White folks went to, this time the Klan and Jim Crow, they loved him in his store. So, it's interesting how this race thing works because, down South was actually more integrated than places up north like Chicago or St. Louis. Blacks and whites interacted more down South than they did in Chicago and St. Louis. So, it's fascinating. You start looking at this history, you open up this thing. And speaking of St. Louis, I want to talk about, brother. Yeah, but even Byrd knew that his sound didn't come from drugs. The reason why Charlie Parker got on drugs is quite easily, and nobody, I used to love watching Clint Eastwood's Byrd movie starring Forrest Whitaker. I think Forrest Whitaker did a great job of portraying the tragedy, triumphs, and just the complexities of Byrd's character. But Clint Eastwood did Byrd a disservice by not telling the true nature of his drug addiction. Byrd got into a real bad car accident in the Ozarks that killed his best friend. But Byrd got hooked onto morphine, whatever, in hospital. The hospital got him hooked on drugs. He started using heroin because he got hooked on morphine. And he was trying to kick this habit of heroin by drinking alcohol, drinking a gallon of wine a day. He was doing stuff. The drug was a hindrance. The reason why Charlie Parker was great, he was a Virgo. He was born August 29th. It's like Michael Jackson was born August 29th. Dinah Washington was born August 29th. Byrd will practice for 11 to 15 hours a day for 4 years. He said this in an interview in Boston with Paul Desmond, the alto saxophonist on Take 5. With Dave Brubeck. That saxophone, look up Take 5, Dave Brubeck and Paul Desmond. But Paul Desmond interviewed Byrd. He asked Byrd, Byrd, were you born, were you a genius? A prodigy or something like that? Charlie Parker was not a prodigy. That came out of hard work. Charlie Parker practiced his saxophone for 11 to 15 hours a day for 4 years. That came from discipline. Y'all think it's the mamba mentality is just a Virgo reality. The truest Virgos are obsessive compulsive like that. If you look at Coltrane is a Libra. He's born September 23rd, but he's on a Virgo cusp. So he got something on Charlie Parker traits of just being obsessive compulsive with practicing the scales and all that stuff, chords and all that. So now the genius of Byrd didn't come from drugs. It came from hard work and dedication, trying to play the things he heard in his head and manifest it into this reality, into this matrix. Had nothing to do with the drug. The drug deteriorated Byrd. Like I said, they thought he was 65 when he died. He was just 34 years young. Jazz is this it's a spirit music. Jazz is a spirit music. You look at the great Sidney Bechet, who's a Taurus. Sidney Bechet was born May 14th, 1897 in New Orleans. He died on his birthday at the age of 62, May 14th, 1959 in Paris, France, or France is a national music hero. Sidney Bechet is more of a national treasure in France than he is in America. Sidney Bechet said he moved to France so he could be closer to Africa. Read his autobiography, Treated Gentle. Sidney Bechet was functionally illiterate. He couldn't even read music, and he couldn't read or write, but the man was brilliant. Like Miles Davis went to Paris and stuff with Sidney Bechet, and he was just amazed at the sound he was able to get out his horn, because Sidney Bechet started on clarinet, but he popularized the use of soprano saxophone in jazz. And nobody sounded like Sidney Bechet. It's like Louis Armstrong, that's his contemporary. He used a lot of vibrato in his playing. And you could hear, it's like very distinctive. And so Miles was impressed, like, who is this dude? Like, he came out of Louisiana or Texas playing like this old man playing the hell out that damn saxophone. Sidney Bechet. But he said the reason why he moved to France so he could be closer to Africa. France is right there on the tip of Africa. If you look at Pablo Picasso, where he from? He's from Spain. Who conquered Spain and gave Spain its cultural identity? The Moors. Where the Moors come from? They came from Africa. Look at Picasso. Look at his work. Very African influence. And Picasso did not admit this until years later when he was comfortable in his success. A lot of ideas came from Africa. But jazz is a spirit music. Has nothing to do with the American songbook. It's nice. It's nice to have technique, but it's about the spirit. It's a spiritual music. Because like the great ones don't play the same thing twice the same way, whatever you want to say. They don't play it the same way every time. They play it different. There's a lot of people I like that might y'all may not like because it's different. It's like they play with a lot of dissonance and all that stuff and a lot of this weird effects, but really it go back to the spiritual essence of us as a people. It's about freedom seeking. The highest level of any art is about expression of self. It's not about conformity and playing pretty notes and shit. Like y'all used to playing pretty things. No, it's about being true to who you are and amplifying that inside of you to the rest of the world. All the highest art. I'm an artist. Look, I draw, I play my horn, I do my thing, I do my weird stuff, I do my stand-up on here supposedly, but I'm just communicating myself with the world. I'm through trying to fit in with everybody. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of that. Like women, I'm just tired. I'm available. That's about it. I'm not gonna do any special thing for anybody because I'm already a special person. Like I go out my way doing things for people. I share my soul, I share my art, I share my insight with the people. I be elevating people on my platform. I put people on. Quite frankly, it's folks that's around my age. They think we not on the same level. I've been doing this for almost over half of my life. I've been doing this work I've been doing. And the best is yet to come. But on a police brutality thing, people always ask me, do I miss Baba Dick Gregory? I said, I don't miss that nigga. He talked to me every day. He talked to me every day. I don't miss Baba Dick Gregory. Like, I miss Dick Gregory. That nigga talk to me every day. Dead people talk to me. But I'm going to play his thoughts that he shared with me on our platform about how to end police brutality, his thoughts about trauma of the Black Saki and stuff like that. And so I think I'm going to get off. I could just be on here all night talking stuff. Then let me play Baba Dick Gregory. This is We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Let's see.
This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News, News Free Dixie for the 21st century.
So let me tell you white folks and black folks something. If these white cops was killing white folks' dogs like they're killing my children, white women would have burnt police stations down all over America. Huh? So don't tell me what you think about me. Huh? I look at your reaction and know what you think about me. Again, I'm going to say this to you. All you looked at is a trick. NBC, CBS, ABC, those aren't the reporters that own it. It's the hoodlums and thugs, the white supremacy that controls the whole world. That day is over. So let me say two things to you. the Wall Street Journal, not Jet Magazine. Your paper, the Wall Street Journal, November the 7th, 1968, ran that story. No other paper or news media ran that story. Okay? Then you see where you're going. And then finally, let me just tell you this here about police brutality. And the reason you can't solve it. I was born October the 12th, 1932. And two things made me famous. Two things made me famous. My birthday, October 30th. School was closed for Columbus Day. I thought it was closed for me. That's where I messed up my mind. So I always grew up knowing I was somebody. I didn't know God made me somebody. Every year, man, you know, to feel like a little black boy. The only reason I wasn't on welfare because welfare wasn't invented. I thought it was me. The other thing, October 12th, 1932. The universal law, I told you, this is how white folks mess up. White folks, I didn't call them white folks, white folks. So as a child growing up, I saw light complected black folks whiter than white folks. Huh? So if you call yourself white folks, I grew up with white folks whiter than you. White boy, white girl, huh? That cop you sent in my neighborhood never saw a black person as a child. Lived in a white neighborhood, went to a white school. So he grown man. Most of them ain't been to college. Do you know how ignorant you got to be a white cop with all the opportunities in a white racist system for a white male? And you end up being a cop? Huh? A cop? Something wrong with that. Huh? A white woman being a waitress? Queen Elizabeth the queen? And you reduce yours down to be a waitress? And you don't see something wrong with it? So let's follow the white boy. When I was a kid, I didn't know nothing about white folks and black folks, except I knew I had kin folks whiter than white folks. When I was a little child, all I wanted me was a fire truck. When the fire truck, I'd go out and wave. I never did that to a police car. And never wanted a police car. I didn't know about racism. That's universal law. I hear siren, I prayed for them. Now my prayer is different. I pray for the cop and the firefighter, but now I pray to wherever the cop is going, that whoever they're going to meet, both of them will be safe. That's a hell of a way to mess up a prayer. Hell of a way. Now, watch this here. So now the white boy ends up being on the police department. Not a good white job that he qualifies for, with a gun. So when he comes in contact with me, I come in contact with white folks, because I didn't know the difference between a light complected black and white. We didn't have TV. So his cracker, when he's encountered with me, he got a gun and he's ignorant. Now you got some cops want to be cops like because their father was cops, their daddy was cops, their granddaddy. I'm talking about now how you gonna change that in a white racist system that is inside of him? Well, here's where you change it. Listen up, white cop. I'm gonna show you what God intelligence is about. You change it this way. Everybody that carries a gun in America legally have to have a license. They ought to have a license to drive a car. Ought to have a license to sell bread. Huh? Every cop, FBI, CIA, every cop, or any person from the guy that drive the bank truck with a gun, or the guard, have to be licensed. That ain't asking too much. Well, wait a minute. How you gonna get that through? I tell you how you get it through. You call for a boycott of Christmas. How you gonna get it through? Well, here's how you get it through. 78% of all retail in America sells between Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's decent white folks that still don't know they're racist. You got black and white folks go to the doctor and say to the doctor, if you find cancer, don't tell. That's what white folks say. They're in a state of denial. They don't know it.
And Baba Dick Gregory speaking those truths. Thank you, TW, T Wood, for your donation. Happy birthday, brother. T Wood. I appreciate that so much. But that's Baba Dick Gregory speaking from the grave. I don't miss Baba. Baba talk to me all the time. It's fun. I look at a movie, they'll mention Dick Gregory. Somebody talk like Dick Gregory. I'll meet a stranger in the street. They'll say some Dick Gregory saying. I said, man, that's like Dick Gregory. I said, who is that? Dick Gregory is all around. He's omnipresent. He's a righteous ancestor. And the universe soul God has spread this message. People are now finally catching up to the way Bob is thinking. And really, that's a blessing in disguise. Like he said, he got on down. He already knew that playtime was over. He said, I'm getting my ass on out of here. Take me away. But with them to me, like I know a lot of y'all don't like them. Them is like what Picasso said, art is a lie to make us realize truth. Them is the ugly truth of America. This is us. Them is us. Us is them. That's our people, man. American history is a big gangster rap album. Violence is as American as cherry or apple pie. So, I mean, violence is the national language of the country. If you don't speak the language, you can't be American. Like Dr. King said, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. America, America, God crack my head on thee. So, damn is powerful. It's like Picasso's Guernica. It's like Picasso's Guernica. Like I said, Picasso wanted to deny that black influence, right? Let me see if I can find a picture of Picasso Guernica. You know, that was his insight into the Spanish Civil War, excuse me. You see a picture of Guernica. Nigga, good picture. Art history. I love art. But you know, we all about teaching here on We All Be. I'm trying to get the right picture. But Picasso, it's a great, you know, that Genius series. So people talking about the Aretha Franklin, how Cynthia Erivo portrayed Aretha Franklin. Check out season 2 of Genius on was that National Geographic of all channels. Check that out because it deals with the life of Picasso. And I believe Antonio Banderas was born to play Picasso. He did a brilliant job in bringing that legend to life in that show. And I want to share that picture, Guernica, with you all right quick. Is that it? Yeah, that's Guernica. And Picasso, he was drafted. They talked about it in the Genius series, how the people wanted him to do a protest of the Spanish Civil War. You know, General Franco was supported by Adolf Hitler, who was also a failed artist. Hitler was a visual artist. Look up Hitler's art. He couldn't get into art school. Maybe if he had got into art school, it would have been on World War II. Perhaps. I don't know. We don't really know. Give a dog a bone, he'll find his way home or something. I don't know. But this is Picasso's Guernica. He did it. Very powerful statement. on the state of affairs in his homeland. And art is powerful. You know, the Nazis did not dare, when they took over France and they seized control of Paris, the Nazis did not go into Picasso's studio to violate his studio. They were afraid of Picasso. I don't know if they were afraid of him, but you know, the Nazis was pillaging art from Jewish people, stealing art and jewelry. They did not dare enter the studio of Picasso to violate it. And I don't know what it says about, maybe Picasso had some powers, but this is his homage to the trouble in his homeland, Guernica. Very powerful piece of propaganda. Not the most beautiful picture, but it exposes an ugly truth about human nature. So just wanted to share that. And I'm gonna see what y'all saying. Y'all saying a lot of interesting things in the chat. Yeah, black people can't be racist. We could be hateful, we could be despiteful, we could be prejudiced, we could be everything in terms of human emotions, but racism is not about hate. Y'all keep on confusing racism with white supremacy. They two different things. This is not a white supremacist system, it's a racist system. This deal with power and privilege, not hate. There's a lot of racists that don't hate black people. It has nothing to do with hating you. They just want to be on top of you. They want to be number one in the food chain, in the pecking order. Racism is more about rank than hate. Because we confusing black people get confused about this stuff, man. It's definitely about power. This is not about no hate. This is the hate come in because black folks want to be loved by white people, but white folks can't love themselves. They don't have no love for you. It's like even in damn shows that you want to be white because you want to be loved by white folks don't love themselves. Why you think you say stay away from us? They're telling us to stay away from us. We are sick people. White folks are trying to let black folks know we sick. That's why they say I don't understand how black folk could take the hell we give them, because they couldn't take the hell that they give us. But black folks at all costs want to be the slave and the best friend to white people. You know, people want to talk about black men going to white women. What about the black women? Look at Robert De Niro talking about elder abuse. Robert De Niro paying for that chocolate. That black woman got him sprung. Man, talking about it's elder abuse. I got to work all these movies just to pay up, keep up with her lifestyle. Look that stuff up. This stuff is hilarious. Robert De Niro love black women. It's like Bob Dylan. I have a friend, Dory Latner, famous great civil rights activist. She was the muse and girlfriend of Bob Dylan. She was a black woman. He used to work with Medgar Evers. Bob Dylan used to go down to Mississippi to visit her at Tougaloo College. Bob Dylan was sprung on that chocolate. He got mixed kids. Y'all don't know. Bob Dylan. Well, I think his real name is Zimmerman. I thought the sheriff, I didn't shoot the deputy. Shit. But anyway, this thing is interesting. Black folks, y'all love white people more than you love yourselves. It only matters when white people killing us. It don't matter that black girl got killed at McDonald's. Nobody talks. See what I'm saying? This is why I know this ain't genuine. This is all about manipulation. Y'all don't care about the black girl got killed at the McDonald's in Chicago. Chicago. McDonald's probably killed more black folks in Chicago than drive-bys. You know, like people talking about Adam Toledo. They killed Fred Hampton Sr. in his bed while he was sleeping. Chicago was a killing machine. The killing floor. Listen to that Harlem Wolf song, Killing Floor. That's about Chicago. We are all blood sacrifices by another name. Y'all keep on talking about, well, they trying to get us with this. Man, they're killing you through your food, through your air, through your television, through your social media. They're making us all MK Ultra subjects. We all MK Ultra. Like that happened in Indiana, Indianapolis. Indiana was the biggest Klan state. The boy, mama, and folks called the FBI on the dude, who did that thing at FedEx. They called the FBI the year before. What did the FBI do to that young boy? What type of trigger words were used on that young kid to go off like that? Y'all believe everything. My thing, I be looking at this stuff, same old, same old. I got folks call me about this and that. Man, look, same old, man. Y'all getting all, oh man, we won. You ain't win nothing. They got you believing that you terrorize. They got black folks believing that we the Ku Klux Klan. Y'all believe that we actually are the biggest bullies on the block. We the most bullied people on the planet. And they got y'all believe y'all bully people. People come in, we bullying them. They coming in our neighborhoods. They could start businesses, not hire us and exploit us, overcharge us on spoiled milk and meat. Y'all call it progress. I just want to be your friend. Only black folks would use religion as a weakness, to support a weakened position. White folks have used religion to wage wars, to enslave people. Black folks use religion to forgive their enemies and not forgive themselves. It's weird. Everybody's use religion for war. White folks' religion is war. White supremacy, the religion of white supremacy is warfare in all areas of human activity. What was that black woman that just died? The 116-year-old black woman. Look, I gave y'all enough time. I'm just talking in circles. Got me going in circles. I don't even know my stream is holding up well. Hell. But black woman, right, just died. Was she 116? I don't know if she was 115, 116 years old. You know what? I'm gonna start doing like the other black folks. I'm tired of looking up things for y'all. And then people say, you got that wrong, brother. Wrong. Yeah, I did get it wrong. Like, okay, on the Jimi Hendrix, I talked about Al Green last week, right? And I had a picture of a dude. I said it was Larry Lee. It wasn't Larry Lee. It was Billy Cox. But on different sites and in different videos, they have that picture of Jimmy with this guy dressed, as Larry Lee. And Larry Lee was there, but he was dressed in more psychedelic stuff. But I remember my editor of my newspaper, when I wrote that article, he used it as a picture for Larry Lee as well. Because he kind of favored Larry Lee. They look different, but they also favor. Her name was Hester Ford, right? That's the black woman that passed, right? Hester Ford. You know how many kids? She had 12 kids, right? And I believe one article said she had over 125 great-grandchildren. And the woman who replaced her as the oldest living person in America, she's about to be, I think, 115 years old this year. It's a white woman, right? And she has no children. She has no living heirs. But this black woman had 68 grandchildren and 125 great-grandchildren and at least 120 great-great-grandchildren. And I think she just died, Hester Ford. God bless her. She had 12 children on her own, but the white woman who's the oldest living American has no children to speak of. She has no great-greats or no grandchildren or no great-grandchildren. So this is why they're afraid of black folk. We don't die, we multiply. We baby kids, baby. So they scared. Even when they kill us with police brutality, you kill a dude, he had about 29 kids. Damn, we killed this dude, but he got 29 kids. Jesus Christ, we can't get rid of him. See, we God's people. They can't get rid of us. We like roaches. I don't care how much raid you use and all this other stuff to make us infertile and all that. We still reproducing. We don't die, we multiply. So that God bless Hester Ford. She did her job as a race warrior. Be fruitful and ye multiply. Y'all keep on talking about I ain't the right time. I be having friends, college educated, beautiful, but they don't want to have kids because I don't have make enough money. It's designed for you not to make enough money, fool. All this stuff is about population control. My thing is, just do what you want to do, because one of the best things poor people could do is screw. It doesn't cost no money to screw. You can't afford to go to the movies. You can't afford this. Like, just screw your life away. But it's not screwing your life away. You're reproducing yourself. That's a God act to reproduce yourself. That's a divine act. So this black woman had 12 children, 68 grandchildren, 125 great-grandchildren, and then 120 great-great-grandchildren. And she lived to be over a century-year old. She lived the parts of 3 centuries. So that's how you win. That's why they're afraid of us. That's why they want our men to be boys in dresses or to be girls in dresses. because we can, annihilate them from the earth through our fucking. And that's why James Baldwin, like I said, James Baldwin or Michael's on Good Times, they weren't threats because they're kind of effeminate. They're not going to threaten the genetic whatever survival of these so-called white people. Hester Ford threatened the genetic survival of white people. God bless that sister. And I believe the woman that's the oldest American now, she had a sister that lived to be 100 years old. She actually had another sibling that lived to be 100-something years old, and she had no kids. White folks ain't reproducing. Y'all keep on telling me, oh, they killing all these black folks. The police can't kill enough niggas. They can't kill enough of us to get us off this planet. The only way we leave is if we want to leave. We the alpha and omega. That's the biggest trick they played on, that we don't have the power to manifest our reality, to be sovereign. He said, black is just a color. If black folks believe that black was real, black will be real. Black will be powerful. Black will be all-knowing. Black will be great. Black will be unstoppable. It's all about what we believe. You believe white folks got that much power. That's what you believe. I don't wake up every day thinking about white supremacy. I don't wake up every day thinking about police. I don't drive. I had a police drive behind me today. I wasn't trembling and shaking in my boots and stuff. He ended up going down another street. Because if you standing on right, why are you going to be scared? And if you did something wrong and you standing on right, you accept whatever comes. Like if I'm speeding in Alabama over 100 miles per hour, the speed limit, and the cop pull me over, I'm not going to argue with the cop. I'm going to say, sir, okay, why you pull me over? Okay, give me the warning, give me the ticket. I earned that. I'm not going to sit here and get on Facebook Live to make a circus of this stuff. I'm in the middle of No Woods, Alabama, or Dead Woods, Mississippi, or No Chance, Texas. I'm not going to sit there on an isolated road to make a last stand for you all so y'all can hashtag me and not do anything in my name to make these weird videos about, Brother Ron, he brought that on himself. He talking all that crazy stuff. Look at his YouTube channel. Look at all that crazy stuff he talking. He talking about devils and he talking about white folks are all racist. He brought that on himself. I already know how you Negroes be acting. That's why it's a thankless job. Yeah, my birthday is April 23rd, y'all. And people ask what's my birthday is April 23rd. but people ask me where I'm going. There are several places I'm going on this epic road trip. One place gonna be Natchez, Mississippi, to pay homage to the righteous ancestors who lost their lives on my birthday some 81 years ago tomorrow in the 1940 Rhythm Club fire. One of the worst building fires in American history. Over 200 black young people's lives were stolen. People said maybe it was foul play. They don't know what happened. The building caught on fire. But let me just play this show I did, or like this artwork I did. I'm gonna play the meaning behind the artwork I did for the Rhythm Club fire victims' family. I think I might have available. I know it's a print, but maybe as a t-shirt soon. But I always want to pay my respects to those people on my birthday to go and bless the ground of the ancestors. And also Natchez, Mississippi is where they have the Devil's Punch Bowl. So I'm gonna go down there and get as close to the Devil's Punch Bowl as I can to pay homage to the ancestors. There's a couple other places I'm going in Mississippi. I'm gonna do a couple shows on it next month. Thank y'all for supporting Patreon and all endeavors of We All Be. People don't understand. My life is weird. I don't know how I still function. But y'all think I'm okay. Y'all don't know. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody. But I'm gonna play this mean on the Rhythm Club fire. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna close it out. But thank y'all for being patient. Thank y'all for donating. I have not been reading the chats. I've been talking it up. I've been chatting it up. So I'm gonna catch up on the chat. But thank you, T Wood. Thank you, Brother Michael. Everybody who donate and will donate. We love you madly. This is all possible because y'all help support the movement. But like I said, y'all don't really know. I don't know how I keep from cracking up. Maybe I already am cracked up. I don't take no drugs and nothing like that. I don't know if I'm having panic attacks or anxiety attacks. I don't know. I don't take drugs. I don't think people should be happy 24/7. I think that's weird that people think that folks should be happy all the time. That's not normal to me. Normal is like having all types of emotions, being cathartic, having all types of forms of emotions, the ups and downs. That's life. That's how you develop something to say. If you never been through shit, you never have nothing to say that's of worth. And I believe a lot of y'all listen to me because y'all know I've been through some shit and I'm still standing. I'm still here, like Tupac would say.
Brother Ron, R2C2H Artivist, explains the meaning behind the art. The Last Gig, or the Maestro's Last Dance. The Rhythm Club Fire of 1940. This piece was done to commemorate the tragic Rhythm Club Night Fire of April 23rd, 1940 in Natchez, Mississippi. Over 209 people lost their lives that night in that horrible inferno, making it the second deadliest nightclub fire in U.S. history. The event was hosted by the Money Wasters Social Club. Edge Frazier, a member of the Money Wasters Social Club, organized and supervised the event that night. The band that was playing at the club was the Walter Barnes Orchestra. Walter Barnes was a very famous black jazz band leader from Chicago. Although he was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi, Mr. Barnes was raised in Chicago, where he was a gifted musical prodigy who attended music conservatory.
noise for several Chicago. Organized and supervised the event that night. The band that was playing at the club was the Walter Barnes Orchestra. Walter Barnes was a very famous black jazz band leader from Chicago. Although he was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi, Mr. Barnes was raised in Chicago, where he was a gifted musical prodigy who attended music conservatory. Eventually, he became the favorite band leader of legendary gangster kingpin Alphonse Scarface Capone. Capone, who was known as Snorky by his friends, loved jazz music and loved to dance. And so he also favorited Walter Barnes, who was a very great jazz band leader and who he called Brother. Brother would play Al Capone's Cotton Club in Cicero, Illinois for several prosperous years. When Al Capone went to jail for income tax evasion, the gigs dried up and the money stopped flowing. Walter Barnes had to reinvent himself and go on the road. He became the columnist for the Chicago Defender. In his popular column, he would talk about places in the country where African Americans can go and have a good time, where they can eat the best food as well as stay at affordable places. This was the era of Jim Crow and sundown towns. So by default, Walter Barnes became the father, or rather the godfather, of the Chitlin Circuit. Through his column, he actually created a way for musicians to get gigs throughout the country. A map, as you will. For example, Walter Barnes will work his way through all the backwood juke joints as well as theater halls and auditoriums in the Southland, going through places like Tennessee, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, and then resting in Florida, and then working his way back up that same map to Chicago. Tony Bradshaw, who was the original band book for the Rhythm nightclub that fateful night, reneged on his contract, and instead he went to Harlem with his band to play at the world-famous Apollo Theater. Walter Barnes was contacted at the last minute. Although he was hesitant, he took the gig anyway, not realizing that would be his last gig on planet Earth. The Rhythm nightclub was packed that night, inside and out. There was an estimated 700 people on the premises of the nightclub. Ed Frazier, in order to keep people from sticking in and dancing and listening for free, boarded up all the windows and doors except for the front entrance to the club. Spanish moss hang from the rafters of the club for decoration. It was sprayed with insecticide, which also had fuel in it to kill off any bugs that might be in the Spanish moss. Around 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 1940, the Spanish moss caught on fire, spreading quickly throughout the club. People panicked, but there was only one way out. The building was made out of corrugated tin, turning a bright, fiery red, according to witnesses. This made the building into an oven, which in effect was cooking and torturing the people inside to their gruesome deaths. Most of the people who died that night died from being smothered and crushed to death, trying to get out the club. Walter Barnes, realizing that by his band being on stage in the back of the club,
did not have a snowball chance in hell to get out. Instead, took on the hero role, like a captain going down with his ship. He told his band, in order to keep the people as calm as possible, to play the popular song Marie. One of the last things that people heard from the band that night was trumpeter Paul Stott, who had the bad fortune of hooking up with the Walter Barnes band because he was stranded by his circus troupe in the Carolinas, hit a high note as the roof fell on top of the stage. Only 2 members out of Walter Barnes' 11-piece orchestra survived that night. And Paul Stott, who was working his way back home to Indianapolis, wasn't one of them. Some people think that a cigarette was lit and that fire was an accident, but who knows for sure. 209 people lost their souls that night, mostly high school age and in their 20s. If you really think about it, these would have been the people, had they lived, that would have been involved in perhaps the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. But unfortunately, we'll never know. Most of the victims were buried in mass graves in Natchez. Walter Barnes received a hero's homegoing in Chicago. Over 15,000 people attended his funeral. Walter Barnes is interred in the historic Burr Oak Cemetery outside Chicago. This is the same cemetery where Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till, are also interred, along with historical Black figures. This was also the same cemetery that was involved in a scandal which involved mismanagement and the disturbing of buried bodies. I do not believe that Walter Barnes' grave was disturbed. Many tribute songs, jazz and blues, were created and played in honor of Walter Barnes' memory. He instantly became a Black folk hero. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, thank y'all for being patient. I had a little technical difficulties. Thank you, Sister Shekmat, for your donation. Sister K. Duckworth for the due. We love you madly, and everybody else who will continue to send dues. Thank you all for the birthday shout out. Got Gboot2786, great podcaster. Check out this channel, Gboot2786. Got a lot of great commentary on there. A big Prince fan. Thoroughly enjoy. We got to support new Black media. But I did that about 10 years ago, so hopefully I improved since that time. I had to share it because I always wanted to go down there to Natchez to pay my respects to our people who lost their lives on my birthday, which will be 81 years ago tomorrow. And also, that's the home of the Devil's Punch Bowl. So I want to go down there. If I see a peach, I'm going to eat it. If I find some peaches down there, I'm eating them. And it, it is what it is. If y'all taking them six shots, if y'all can take them J's and J's, I'll eat them peaches. I'll take my chances with them peaches from the Devil's Punch Bowl. So I'm gonna go down to Natchez on Friday on my birthday to pay homage to those ancestors. Go to the site of the Rhythm Club Fire of 1940 to go to where they buried in mass graves in the cemetery to pay my respects. And also Natchez was like the place with the highest number per capita of millionaires in the country before the Civil War. Back in slavery, they had more millionaires per capita down in Natchez, Mississippi than any place in the country. And also you had mixed race stuff going on. You had a lot of Black folks that inherited wealth because, mixed race, mulatto Black people had money down in Natchez. And also, this is the site of Wallace Jackson, the civil rights activist. He was blown up to pieces in his truck, just not that far away from his home, which is now a historic landmark down in Natchez, Mississippi. So those are some of the places I will be paying my respects to the righteous ancestors on my birthday. So y'all send y'all prayers and good vibes and stuff as I go down there. And also there's some other places I'm not going to talk about right now that I'm going. And I think I'm strange like that, 'cause I like to hang around cemeteries and play my horn and eat lunch with dead people. And, dead people, they talk. It's like the songs you listen to, y'all listen to Sam Cooke. Y'all hear those lyrics. I hear other stuff when I'm listening to Sam Cooke, or I listen to Miles Day. I'm hearing other things like ghost notes and stuff. So, we all got that ability, but a lot of us don't want. Just like with the damn to me is just telling our story that we don't want to tell. That's still taboo. It's a powerful piece of propaganda for the truth. And I'm looking forward to seeing the last 2 episodes of this season. If this is the only season, I think it's great. It's like the Guernica for Black people. It exposes ugly truths about this so-called American dream, which is a nightmare for Black people. Always been. I just saw a movie called The 24th that's on Stars. It talks about the Houston race riot of 1917. You had the men of the 24th Regiment, the Buffalo Soldiers. They went into Houston and started tearing shit up. They shot up Houston, killed 5 cops, 11 white people, civilians. And they were like the largest murder trial in U.S. history. You had 19 Black folks hang. You had 41 Black folks spend a large chunk of their lives in prison. And my thing is, I love that story. I don't feel, it's a tragedy. No, these Black folks said, we tired y'all spitting on us and peeing on us and disrespecting us. And you know why they went into town? Because a Black soldier came to the aid of a Black woman who was beat up by the police. That kicked it out. Y'all come, y'all don't protect Black women. This is the hometown of Meg Thee Stallion. You had Black men coming in with guns, shooting up Houston, Texas. They were stationed at Camp Logan. They're trying to get overseas. How are you going to keep them down on the farm after they seen Perry? But these Black men knew what they was doing would cost them their lives, and they did it anyway. And Houston don't want to talk about that. Them Black folks them Black men drew down on them white folks in Houston, gave them an ass whooping they'll never forget, or they want to forget. But Black folks don't know their history. But I congratulate Trey Byers. That's a brother who played on Empire. Trey Byers, the one y'all said should play Mark Jackson, a biopic about Mark Jackson, the Black Panther that was killed with Fred Hampton. That was his project. Y'all should check out the 24th on Stars on your Fire Stick. Please do yourself a favor. Watch that powerful movie. That movie is powerful as hell. When them guys got convicted, it's like, it was amazing. I said, damn, this is a great movie. Because I love it when I don't expect anything from a movie. I don't go into movies looking for it to be great. Movies are not what they used to be. These folks don't know how to tell stories to movies. But you have every now and then, you have a 24th, you have a them. Yeah, a lot of y'all don't like them because it's too close to home. It ain't shit to do. Because I'm going to tell you something. My mother's youngest brother, my Uncle Arthur, who passed away at 40, back in 2003 from complications from AIDS and HIV, he was a victim of a child sex predator of the community. The Black folks protected this child sex predator. It was 2 well-known child sex predators in that neighborhood when they were growing up. One was a prominent college professor and a deacon of a Black church. And people knew that he was luring boys over to his home to take advantage of them. Like he'll lure boys over his house with promise of candy and money to cut his grass, and he can get in their ass. And Black folks knew for years that this Black college professor was screwing these boys. And the guy who took advantage of my uncle, his sister was bringing boys to the home for him to screw. These folks lived on the same block as my family people for years. I never understood why my parents and my grandparents and people would be so hesitant to allow me and my cousins to stay over people's homes overnight. They were so adamant. I said, why y'all want to? No, we ain't gonna let you do it. Till I found out what happened to my uncle Arthur. And he never got therapy or help for it, but the people that supposed to protect him betrayed him, the grown people. Because it was the grown people, the principal and the teacher, his school teacher, that told my grandmother not to pursue charges against this man. to have him locked up, him and his sister. Principals and teacher told her not to do that. The principal of his elementary school. So y'all talking about Micaiah Bryant being, I mean, come on, man. We failed her. Her mom, aunt, family, village, we all failed her. And really, I said to me, I feel like, you know, our people it's like we're very sadistic people. Because why are you elevating being victimized? That shit is crazy. But then you got black folks that fought back. We're afraid. Like white folks talk about General Patton all day. They talk about Nathan Bedford Forrest and all this. Black folks scared to mention Michael Johnson, Mark Essex, Gavin Long. We scared to mention them guys. But they were patriots too. They were military guys. They were trained by the best. We scared to talk about, but we'll talk about getting some ass whoopings. We love talking about getting our ass. Like we got that John Lewis disease. We love them ass whoopings. Oh, you whoop my ass so good. Lord, they whoop my ass so good. You know, we love that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about black men say, you know what, you want us to fight and kill these goddamn Krauts and Germans and shit? No, I'm gonna kill the motherfuckers that's killing my brother, who killed my people in East St. Louis. Don't you know that the majority of the black folks that got killed in East St. Louis from Mississippi, them black folks were recruited to East St. Louis to cross the Union line because the white folks wanted more money. So the white folks that own the factories and shit said, I'm gonna bring these niggas up here from the plantation and take y'all jobs, because unions were made to keep black folks disenfranchised. Y'all don't know that shit. Y'all don't want to study no history. Y'all keep on asking these silly ass questions about why people keep on talking about we need to have a panel discussion. Nigga, I don't want to have no intellectual masturbation, circle jerk, thing with you. Like y'all don't know what time it is. The stuff that we need to do ain't gonna be on YouTube, ain't gonna be no podcasting, ain't gonna be no Revolt TV Summit. All that shit is dead. Y'all talking about fucking baseball and basketball bullshit. Who cares? All-star games, but who gives a damn? Celebrity this and celebrity that, who gives a damn? You know, but I'm saying, I'm talking about this stuff. Black folks fought back. Nobody want to talk about that shit. If I talk about Eddie Knoll down in Holmes County, Mississippi, back in the early 50s, this is like over a year before Emmett Till, you had a sharpshooter, light mulatto, short dude, killed this juke joint owner who was a white man who was screwing his wife. Everybody, black and white, knew that the juke bar owner was boning his wife, and it was consensual. And he came down there one Saturday night, whatever, I think it was like the first weekend of the new year, just back in 1954. He came down there to claim that baby come home. White dude bullied him. This white dude was imposing. And this guy was a little short thing, little slight thing, high yellow dude. But that black dude stood his ground, killed that white man. I believe killed that white man daddy, killed a sheriff deputy, one of the largest manhunts in the state of Mississippi history. They had one of the largest manhunts doing one of the worst ice storms of that era. So they were looking for this black dude in the snow. And this black dude was like a human machine gun. He was a crack shot. This man could take an average rifle and make it into like a machine gun. He was so fast. He was like Pat Mahomes with the football. Quick release. So he was actually seeing the white dudes hunting for him in the forest, but he could have killed a whole bunch of white people if he wanted to, but he didn't do it. He just did it in self-defense. So you had black and white families hiding him out in their barns, giving him food and all that. Actually, it was a white friend of the family who helped turn him into authority so he wouldn't get lynched or killed by the posse. And so the only reason he got away with it, they sent him to Whitfield Institution, the mental institution in Mississippi, Whitfield. They're about to give him a lobotomy, scrambling his brain, but some people intervened who had powerful connections. You got to understand that Eddie Knoll was related to one of the governors of Mississippi. He's named after the white governor, one of his ancestors, Edmund Knoll. That's his namesake. His name is Eddie Knoll. His ancestor, who was the governor of Mississippi, was named Edmund Knoll. So he spent years in the mental institution, in the prison. He never went to trial for killing all those white people. And he became a free man after so many years. He died an old man up in Indiana back in 1994, I believe. I interviewed a white man who lived during that time. He was a teenager when all that was happening. And the book is called The Time of Eddie Knoll. I don't know if it's still in print, if you can find it, but the book is called The Time of Eddie Knoll. And this is why they had to kill Emmett Till, because of what happened in Holmes County back in 1954, January of 1954. So nobody talks about his story. That's the story y'all don't even know about. Y'all think it's some fantasy shit. This is the Mississippi where black folks didn't testify against white folks in court. Well, black folks couldn't be registered to vote. Poll taxes, that Mississippi, he got away with it. Wife was screwing her boss, a white boss, and he came to try to be a black man. The man disrespected him, and he reclaimed his manhood by killing the man and his father and the sheriff deputy. He didn't shoot the sheriff, but he did shot the deputy. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Y'all look up Eddie No. Y'all probably ain't gonna find nothing, but probably find some of my videos I did with the author of the book, The Time of Eddie No, online. There's a lot of stuff that's not online that should be online. Like a lot of y'all don't even know about the story of Joe Pullen. Fannie Lou Henry used to talk about that, about this World War I veteran, the sharecropper who shot out on white folks in Drew, Mississippi. Drew is where Archie Manning is from. That's the father, the patriarch of the Manning family. You know, Eli and Peyton Steady. He's from Drew, Mississippi. Back in the early 20s, there was a black man named Joe Pullen that was pulling the cap, busting the cap in these white folks' ass. And they caught him and they dragged him down the street like James Byrd, but he killed a lot of white people. And Fannie Lou Henry talked about it, who was born in 1917. So she like 5 or 6 years old when this stuff was going down. She said for years, white folks didn't mess with black folks after that. Not for like that, but because of what Joe Pullen did. And Marcus Garvey reported it in his newspaper, The Negro World. So this is stuff that y'all should know. Y'all don't know, and y'all get all traumatized by them. You know, but I'm just saying, look up The Blind of Isaac Woodard, the PBS documentary that came out, I think in March or in February. That's a veteran. So, you know, black folks always say, well, we got to make the world safe for democracy. We fought in every war. We was 5,000 strong with George Washington. We fought in every war. I got ancestors I can name who fought in the Civil War, the Moon Brothers from Tunica County, MHOON, Moon Brothers. I can name my people. See, when you stand on that, when you could name receipts, bring receipts, stop letting y'all want a talking head to do y'all work. Go research our family tree. Somebody asked me, you know, how where you get. Just go on ancestry.com and start looking at newspaper articles, birth and death certificates and stuff like that. Start talking to some of the elders in your family. Go back to where your family, your people come from. Start looking through the court records. And some of that stuff is online. But what I'm saying is stop putting this stuff together and tell these stories. You know, I remember I was riding on a van. Damn, what time is it? Oh, damn, it's my birthday. Let me just shut up. I was riding on a van, right? To my great-grandfather's funeral, Jack. His name is Ethel Webb. They call him Ethel. He had a woman named Ethel. How I used to do black folks day. But he died. And he lived in Michigan when he died with one of his daughters. So we was going up to Michigan from Memphis on a van. My folks renting a van. So I was with the old people, like a scene from one of Eddie Murphy's movies where he play all these different people. Had my Uncle Junebug, Ethel Jr. Had my grandma, had, you know, this old woman who didn't say anything. She just farted. You know, she was like cousin something. She didn't say nothing. She was just there. And she was like passing gas, silent killers and shit. And I had my cousins and my sister, and we were just sitting, listening to all these stories. They talking about a cousin Mary who was messing around with that white man. They found her dead in the ditch. I said, who the hell is cousin Mary? This happened back in the 40s or something. And they were talking about my Uncle Jumbo said, that white man cheated me out my money. I killed this cow. I killed that son of a bitch. I was like, damn, you black folks got all this. So I'm just saying, like, that trauma is real, man. It's like you can't, you know, like that August Wilson, he talked about that black rage, man. He's like, I saw that Mom Rainy Black Body. It was not just about entertainment. They were dealing with black rage. They were dealing with black trauma, man. Those stories actually happened to us, man. I mean, I talked to elders. They talking about how they had an uncle who was on the trolley in Memphis, got his face blown off by the conductor just for being a black man. He ain't do nothing wrong. The trolley conductor just blew his face off. And this lady lived to be almost 100 years old. She still remember like it happened yesterday. You don't think that's affecting black people? Then you pass that generational trauma on to other generations? You know, just get real about this. But I'm saying, let's stop with the bullshit. But damn, it's necessary. It's woke propaganda, but it's necessary. They're not telling lies. Compton used to be white. George W. Bush family used to live in Compton. Look at the documentary Bastards of the Party. It talked about spook hunters and stuff, white folks going around in gangs terrorizing black folks in LA. You know, Judge Joe Brown talking about how they were recruiting white folks from down south to be a part of the LAPD. Stuff is real, man. But I did my 2 hours. Well, did she get a pass? I mean, her boss got killed by her husband. She caused the death of her boss and his daddy. And my thing about it, she didn't never want to talk about it. But black women, a lot, like I said, the Houston race riots were started over black women being disrespected by the white police of Houston. I'm tired of black people. Black men don't protect black women. I said, black men been protecting black. You know how many black men were killed? Look up that thing that happened in Georgia, where those 2 black couples got killed. What that Moore's Ford Bridge lynching in the 1940s? These were World War II veterans. One dude, I mean, one story I heard. See, one story I heard about that one of the black women, no disrespect to her, to the ancestor, she allegedly was having an affair with one of the black man bosses. That's one version of the story I heard. And I heard that they got their bodies shot up. 100 shots, 100 rounds into each of their bodies. These are black men and women. 2 brothers who were World War II veterans. They were killing a whole bunch of black soldiers after the World War II. You know, they were finding black men in uniform and rivers and shit and lakes and stuff in Mississippi. There's a place down in Mississippi, not that far from Natchez, called Camp Van Dorn. They said back in the fall of 1943, that over 1,200 black men were murdered down in Camp Van Dorn. And some believe they were buried underneath what is now known as a man-made lake. There was a serious inquiry into what happened to them soldiers in Camp Van Dorn. They became missing. You know, y'all people think, well, the Army said that they got moved to Alaska. Don't you know that they could fabricate shit? That the official story is the official lie? That once you sign your name on the line for Uncle Sam, you become the property of said Uncle Sam. They don't have to give a damn about telling your people the truth about how you really died. They can say, oh, you got blowed up, improvised explosion. Yeah. They don't have to tell your people the truth. Pat Tillman family had fortitude. They learned the truth. They were forced the truth. Pat Tillman, the football player, used to play in the NFL, gave up his career, came on what I guess an Army Ranger or something like that. One that was elite, military units, and he got killed over in Afghanistan. And the official story was a cover-up because allegedly he was killed by friendly fire. But there's a phenomenon known as fragging. Look up fragging. Fragging is where soldiers kill their commanding officers on purpose. And they kill them, like, a lot of black soldiers. I mean, I talked to black folks from Vietnam. Like a black nurse would tell me how she knew black soldiers who would kill their white commanding officers on purpose during wartime because of what they did to them while they were being trained. They were getting payback. So they actually will kill their white commanding officers on purpose. And then people, it was a friendly fire. No, they killed them on purpose. These are veterans and black nurses telling me about this phenomenon. But Pat Tillman probably got on their nerves, all this Mr. Patriotic BS, and they killed his ass. And his folks found out. They did a documentary about it. But what I'm saying is, they don't have to tell y'all the truth how your people die once they join the military. Your life is not your own. Look at Private First Class Lavina Johnson, who was killed and raped and burnt up in a contracted tent in Iraq. They told her at first she'll never go into the war zone. She'll just be a recruiter, but they sent her ass overseas. And she got killed right before her 21st birthday, I believe. And they tried to cover her, say it was a suicide, but they found out that when her family did that second autopsy, that she had burns on her vagina. They're trying to cover up the DNA from a rape. And the family, from my understanding, actually found out who was the actual person who killed and raped their daughter. He was like a highly placed contractor or military officer. See, I'm gonna do a show about all these women, especially black women, getting killed in the military, and they come out as suicide. There's a couple of stories that don't get talked about, and I just think it's fascinating that how can a person, I don't know, man, but I don't want to talk about this right now. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, Camp Van Dorn, they were doing some serious momentum pushing into what happened. Then September 11 happened. See, the U.S. Army was supposed to go down there to investigate and meet with people on September 19th, 2001. But what happened on September 11, 2001? So the focus shifted from trying to find out if 1,200 black soldiers was killed in Camp Van Dorn, because these were the black soldiers that were defiant. Just like the 24th. The 24th was defined in Houston because they were getting disrespected. They said, how are you going to treat me like this? I'm a man. I'm a soldier. You don't treat me like no regular person. You got to understand, back in 1944, when Jackie Robinson was court-martialed in Fort Hood, Texas, This motherfucker was an officer. If you read the actual like transcripts and stuff, sources from that era, Jackie Robinson was a hothead. Y'all think he was like scared of white people? This dude was going off on them white MPs down in Texas. But it was lit. I thought they blinded a black man 2 years later in his uniform. Jackie Robinson was going off on them white police. He'll going off on the white commander officers. The best. How you gonna talk? You know, I'm a man. All this stuff. What the hell y'all gonna do? I'm an officer. This is the army. You can't tell me to sit in the back of the damn bus. He act like Judge O'Brien. He was pulling his gun out about to shoot these white boys. This in Texas. This before he became Jackie Robinson, Mr. Integration of baseball. Before they used him and abused him and dumped him. They disposed of Jackie Robinson like a used maxi pad or tampon. And he figured it out at the end, but it was too late. He was bitter. He died. He died in his 50s. They thought he was like 80 years old when he died. That's how it screwed up. He looked like Black Rob was looking. Shit. May he rest, both rest in peace. But yeah, so I'm gonna do this interesting road trip. I think that's probably why I can't get no woman, because I'm just too weird. I'm interested in talking about these black tragedies, and y'all can't even stand looking at an Amazon Prime episode of I'm going down to ground zero where they slaughter black folks. And people say, man, you ain't afraid? I said, I just go there in the daytime. I ain't going there at night. I ain't no fool. I might be silly, but I ain't no fool. I ain't going down there at night to Camp Van Dorn and shit. I ain't going down to the Devil Punch Bowl at night. Well, I got to leave early this morning, so it's my birthday now. Thank y'all for I don't know if the stream coming out good. I think y'all can hear me because I see some of the comments. I'm going to trust some of the stream because I think my video got interrupted because I forgot to plug in my computer. So I don't know how much I had to start. I don't know. That's just me, man. But I want to thank y'all for being patient. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. And people talking about the cash apps, R2C2H2. Thank y'all for the donations. We love you madly. So much going on. Hey, brother Gavin, appreciate it. Brother Luther, Luther Vandross's birthday was April 20th. I love Luther because he'll take a song that wasn't his. You think it was his song. Like We're Having a Party. I didn't know that was Sam Cooke's song, but Luther made it his own. Luther was a brilliant light, and I'm glad he was able to share that with the world. I don't care about his personal life, and I'm just looking at the music. The man left behind. He was a true artist. Brilliant. There's nobody like Luther Vandross. Nobody. He'll take anybody's song and just make it his own. That's a gift. Maybe, you know what? I had an interesting conversation. I love hats like some of y'all love shoes. Like I brought a whole bunch of hats today. I brought some hats. I love my hats, and I don't care if y'all don't like. I love my hats. This is part of my style. But I was talking to a guy at the hat shop, and I was talking about American women in general, because he actually married a woman from Brazil, and this is a white man. I said, so you married one of them Brazilians that look white? He said, nah, she's dark. He said he went to Brazil. It was such a culture shock. But he was saying like Brazil is not like America, because America is not really racially, like, you know, we're not really a melting pot. Like you look at Brazil, you know, you got what the largest number of black people anywhere outside of Africa, they located in Brazil, but you got all these mixtures of people. And they really, you know, he was talking, I mean, I just hear different things, but he said he gave up on American women. But he gave this woman a chance because she kind of pursued him. She was a little bit more aggressive, because she actually did spend time. She's a naturalized citizen of America. She's a Memphian, but she's from Brazil as well. But she still got that cultural mindset. So we had a good conversation about the state of American women. I'm not saying just black America. I'm saying American women in general. Like it goes back to Eddie Murphy said, you know, Eddie, treat me like animal. He talking about how American women was, you know, you bring a woman from the bushes or whatever and bring her over to America to become Americanized. You be like Johnny Carson. She won't hell. But or like Robert De Niro. The Irishman. But anyway, the crying man, the crying game. But I don't know, man. It's interesting. I'm just gonna be me. We'll see how this plays out. Because even the Generation Z girls women are kind of interested. I like, oh my God, maybe about 10 more years. I could just stay there and Ron Isley. I might grow my beard back later on like Ron Isley. Thank you, Brother Bug. We love you madly for the donation. I appreciate y'all for all the love. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like get tiresome, man. Like, you're not screwing me. Why you care about what I do with my face? I'm not ugly, so you can't pull that game. I'm not the fattest MF. I'm not the ugliest MF. I'm not the stupidest MF. Nowhere near those. I'm not a bad looking dude. My brain is still good looking, and I'm still doing interesting things. So I don't know. I can't help. Hey, look, I tried for 40 years of my life to please everybody. It don't work. I try to do what people wait. You gotta understand, you can't please people that don't know how to love and please themselves. So I'm just gonna live my life, and whatever benefits y'all get from me living my life, it's just a bonus at this point. Cause I didn't know I was gonna make it this long. I had no idea I'll make it to 40. I had no idea, let alone 41. Yeah, once I get going, man. Once I get going, I don't, my thing is this. You get a certain age, you gotta really know how to conserve and utilize your energy. I'm gonna be me, because it always my life works better when I believe in myself and trust my instincts and intuition. I'm through following everybody else lead on this, because I be holding myself back, because people that can't be at my level, they're gonna have to get elevated. Oh yeah, always. And I know the best is yet to come for me. So thank y'all. And we love you madly. No, I'm gonna tell you what makes you look older with people that are victims of arrested development. When you have knowledge of self, you actually know who you are. Knowledge and wisdom will make you look a little bit more, what do you call it? Make you have a little bit more gravitas. If you look at Dr. King and Malcolm X and these guys, they would die in their 30s, but they looked like they had a lot of other stuff on their mind. They were a little bit more mature than their age group. And you get punished for that when you black and you got some sense, you got some knowledge of self, you got a little bit of wisdom. Black folks want to look young and think young and do young shit all their lives. You want to be 80 years old, act like you're 20. I mean, it's a thing about being youthful and having energy, but not about being foolish. When you're 80 years old or 70 or 60 or 50, you got to gain some knowledge. Wisdom is not cheap. Wisdom is expensive. If you can survive the lesson and learn from the lesson, you gain some wisdom. That's an expensive thing. So I'm leader of the new school. People keep on talking about this and that. Hey, whatever, man. But thank y'all. Yeah, I don't believe it. It's like what Picasso said. There's only two types of women: women, goddesses and doormats. I'm starting to understand what he was saying, or overstaying it now as I get older. Everybody ain't worth saving. People talking about save this and save that. Everybody ain't worth saving. Everybody ain't worth saving. Like everybody ain't worth paying attention to in your chat room. Everybody ain't worth it. They comment don't have no weight. I'm a grown ass man. But thank you. I'm gonna leave on this. Bobby Dick Gregory said I was the feeder. And I hope that I'm feeding you all, the ones who can receive it. Thank you so much for your time and for being very patient. We love you madly. Thank y'all so much. This is really a lot of love, man. And the reason why I can keep on going when I be tired is because getting that positivity, all that reciprocity from you all is keeping me going. It's keeping, I got to drive about almost 6 hours today. And I'm still ain't packed the way I want to be packed. But thank y'all so much. I think the Wi-Fi, I hope it held up. But anyway, y'all take care of yourselves. And I'll close it with Baba Dick Gregory's the feeder. When he anointed me the feeder for the people. Okay. I hope it holds up. But let me see if I get out of here. Y'all got to say. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. And y'all take care. I have some great stuff to share when I come back. A lot of interesting video episodes. May gonna be an interesting month. It's gonna be a very busy month. We love y'all madly. Keep on producing and pushing. And before I go, let me say this. I think let me say this right quick. It wouldn't be right if I didn't do this. Read a disclaimer. Because sometimes I forget what I be saying. Oh, Brother Ron, is We All Be? No, just me. We All Be is the platform. Thank God for the platform. But disclaimer. The views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints, expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge and deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support, and thank y'all so much. Words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Y'all keep on producing and pushing.
And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. Mm-hmm. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you drive all over the country to chase us down. Chase us down. Okay? We move so fast. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're a family. I don't know if you're a wife. Okay? But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what? You know, that's, I owe that to you. It's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. Mm-hmm. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. Huh? You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.